Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia review. And Wave 16, our final figure that we're reviewing, is Roboto. New Eternia Roboto. We have gotten a Roboto, Revelation Roboto, back in an early wave, but Wave 16 rounds us out with another repeat, but this time instead of Revelation or Revolution, it's New Eternia. We know Roboto is one of those very important characters from the Filmation that we just have to have. And this guy, I think they may have finally gotten it right as far as all of us Masterverse fans and what we would imagine and want to see it come to life in a 7-inch, 6.5 to 7-inch scale. You know, we got more or less Filmation Club Grayskull Roboto with Super 7, I believe it was. I know through the Club Grayskull early on in the Classics. And we, of course, got a Classics Roboto. I think everybody really kind of liked that jacked-looking Roboto that was in the Mike Young production. But this guy, just like New Eternia always does, brings that classic feel, but then takes it to another dimension. And so you see Masterverse on the top. Check out that artwork on the side with these rock creatures. You remember seeing that in the Filmation cartoon, some rock creatures. There's a really good picture of Skeletor back there. That's looking cool. And then it wraps around here to see some really nice product shots of Roboto with both styles of helmet visor, this one and that one. So we get two looks there, it looks like. That's really nice. And there's some other surprises that come along with this guy, but just take a look at those product shots. Shows all of his attachments. Ooh, look at there. Are we actually seeing a action feature gimmick? Like kind of like Beastman's moving jaw, which was so cool. It does look like it. And then there is a bio. If you'd like to pause and read that right quick, you certainly can. And as I've said, we've already reviewed Randor, King Randor, and the new Eternia 2.0 Beastman. So check them out if you haven't already. But this is our final one in Wave 16, and we're looking forward to checking him out. The only subline figure that I've not reviewed yet, and that's the Vintage Collection, is Zodak. Still trying to get a hold of that one, but this guy is looking cool. So let's come over here inside of the Palace of Eternia in our Man-at-Arms workshop and check him out. And here we are inside of Man-at-Arms workshop itself, getting ready to take a look at someone who's very special to both He-Man and Man-at-Arms. And you can see over here where Man-at-Arms is working on one of the jet sleds over here, repairing it. But he's also had to repair and tweak the gears and programming of none other than New Eternia Roboto. And that's who we're going to be looking at today. First, at his accessories. And first of all, Roboto comes with only one set of hands, and that is a set of horizontal weapon holding hands or tool holding hands or whatever the case may be. He also comes with a visor on his jaw there that you can see there, kind of a jaw type mechanism that we always see reminiscent of Roboto. Just take a look at those cool eyes and the way the gears are done. It just looks so neat. And then he comes with 3 attachments. He comes with a claw attachment right there. He also comes with almost like a paint gun looking blaster. Looking cool. I'm sure it could shoot out all kinds of chemicals or type of, flames or lasers or some kind of cannon. And then he has this blade thing looking cool here. And so those are the 3 attachments that he comes with. We can plug them in either side. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And then he comes with an extra visor that has these air vents holes on the side. So we'll definitely take a look at him with that jaw visor thing on, lower jaw piece. So that's the second piece. And that's pretty much everything that Roboto comes with, other than his gear gimmick, which we're going to take a look at right now as we take a closer look at Roboto and at his articulation. All right, moving our Roboto in a little bit closer over here. We're going to look at him closer up here and just see. You have a gear back here and you can turn it either direction. And as you turn it, just take a look at that. Those gears will move. Isn't that cool? That is so neat. That visor shifts up and down just a little bit, but does it really reveal anything? Just take a look at those metallic eyes. They look really cool. But let's go ahead and pop off this piece here very carefully. Feels like it could snap. Kind of rubber, I should say plastic, that this is. Feels like it could snap. Now, here's an interesting thing to notice about this Roboto is he has kind of almost like a skeletal system underneath. Now, some have mentioned that that could be like a evil Roboto, but I'm thinking that it's more like a, I was trying to see if this would pop off. I don't think it will, but it might. I gotta keep checking to see. It could just go along with the skeletal, you know, portions of trying to be a more living type version of Roboto. That makes any sense? I'm still trying to figure out if that pops off of there. So basically, after wiggling and pulling, I don't really think that the top part is meant to come off. But I believe there's a way you could do it. I'm not exactly sure right now. I'm not exactly sure right now how, unless you had to like maybe really heat it up and pop this plastic. But it looks like that tab right there goes into the skull, and it looks like it could just peg out, because look, see how much you can bend it like that. So it looks like it could be worked off. I just don't want to break it, but that would be cool if you could actually like get to the mechanics of the head. But what I really wanted to do is put on this other visor, and I believe this pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, will give it more of a 2000X look to it, and we'll take a look at that just a bit. Definitely gives it more of a depth and a elongated look, kind of like we did in the 2000X, and it will drop down a little bit, but it's meant to sit right there, so that's cool. But then now you can see the teeth of like the bone structure of the metal jaw with the teeth there, so it's almost like a skull. Now, like I said, some have mentioned that it's supposed to be like evil Roboto, and you could definitely use your imagination and do that, but I just think it's part of the skeletal structure of Roboto. And now moving on to his hands here, of course, you got to pop these out, and you got the big pegs, and then you could pop in this claw piece, and check this out. We're getting into articulation, but that jaw piece is going to swivel as well as open and close, so that's really neat. It swivels and it opens, so that's really cool. You can grab around the neck of Skeletor or Stinkor or somebody. Boy, he could really go after Stinkor and do good to kind of, you know, he don't have to worry about smelling him. Let's go ahead and snap this on. If he's fighting Webstor and there's webs everywhere, he can cut down those webs. Oh, yes, he can. And cut them down to size there. Looking really cool. Check that out. So he's got the ability to swivel and spin those blades. Looking neat. So cool. Awesome. And I'll go ahead and pop this one off while we're at it, because I really like the claw, probably the best of all. And then here you have, and I said paint gun because that's what this reminds me of, but whatever chemical is in there, he's going to be able to shoot his cannon. Really neat. All right. So he is armed to the T here. He's going to be able to really go after him. So there you have it. Now we've looked at all the accessories equipped, got a closer look at Roboto. He's got kind of the same look here, that purple look. And then the pads here, different looking boots here from what we got with the first Roboto, which we'll look at that. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. And I'll go ahead, since we're doing that, and strap on the blade. And moving on to his head here, he's going to be able to look up a really good amount. Look at there. That's excellent. He's going to be able to look down a pretty good amount there. I like the blue transparent visor that goes over his eyes. That's really neat touch. And also it looks like that the no, actually I thought it was the eyes that were translucent there. I mean, that were blue, but they're actually, when I look up in there, those eyes are actually silver. It's that blue stripe, blue transparent plastic over it that gives it that look. But that's really neat because you can see the detail of the eyes. So that's nice. And it's a real strong feeling plastic. Only time will tell whether it yellows. I just hope and pray that it does not yellow. That would be awful. You see that metal looking workings on the inside. Would have been neat if they had painted some of those gears with a little bit of silver accent. Wish there was a way to get in there without messing it up so we could paint a little bit of accents and highlights of the gears on the inside of the workings. That would be neat, but I really like it. I'm not complaining. That's just a nitpick, but I just really think he looks cool. And even with the plastic, it's just well hides. Like right here, it's kind of thicker to hide the mechanism of his arm joint going in the butt because of this extra plastic thickness right here, which really looks like detailed wiring and gear work up here on the shoulder pad area. So that's really cool. We don't really get a whole lot of head pivot, nothing that will stay anyway. He will of course turn side to side. It's really neat looking neck mechanisms, also part of the design because it's a metal looking, real high class looking, technically I would say high class looking metal metallic plastic looking there. We have the same kind of arms that we're used to with the weird elbow type bend here, but I guess it bodes well for him because of the fact that he's a robot, probably more so than the flesh type characters. He's going to be able to get full 360, of course. He has bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which really get him close here. As you see, I really like the metal workings all the way up into this. And then the articulation there will open and close and swivel, just like the hands will, of course, swivel and horizontally hinge. And then over here, you've got the articulation of this spinning, like we already saw. And no diaphragm cut here, so he's not going to be able to bend or get, any kind of per se diaphragm bending forward or back, but he will of course swivel, so that's nice. You'll have to get all of his bending forward, which is more like a robot anyway. He's doing the robot. Check him out. He'll get all of his bending forward with his legs. So that's one of the reasons why I think they really keep all of this clear. You still have the drop down method there, and that's going to allow him to kick way up there like that. He's going to be able to kick back a little bit too. He also gets full splits, so we forgot to mention that. He has thigh rotation, which are real smooth and well hidden with this kind of design here. And then he's got double jointed knees, which are well hidden with this knee pad. And that'll allow it to go all the way up and hit the back of his lower back there. And he also has full tiptoe abilities there, go up all the way, and it has excellent rockers. So actually they do kind of hit right there. It has the peg hole in the bottom for stands, and these shoes look really nice. There's a nice metallic silver here for these boots and shoes that he has, so that's really nice. And so overall, I really like his articulation. I think he's really going to be able to do good with posing and everything, even minus the diaphragm. So technically, I guess you'd have to count some of this to add up to that 30 points of articulation, because you certainly are missing the diaphragm, but that's okay because it is Roboto. But I really like him. This I believe is now my favorite Roboto. And full transparency, I was never able to get a hold of the Classics Roboto. I bid on him several times on eBay, tried to get him a few years back, never could get him, but I was satisfied with the one that I made. And I'll show you that right now as we get ready to do comparisons. All right, so here we have our new Roboto, and here we have our Revelation Roboto, and I do have him armed with a laser cannon here. And then we have the one that I customized from that Superman that McFarlane did with all that decked out armor, and I just used some hard putty to go over the Superman emblem here, and painted some silver paint here, painted some little buttons there, and painted on the inside some metallic paint here. And I used the Roboto head that was inspired by 2000X Mike Young production helmet head that came in that heads pack, Classics head pack, and used that as the head on this guy. And so this is a customized Roboto that I did a number of years ago, and I just like the way he looks, because he looked robotic to me. And so that's McFarlane. Also painted in the neck here some of those silver trim, and also in here, just to give it a little bit of a different look than what it looked like, you know, with the Superman. And of course remove the cape. So that's my Roboto. And you can see why I mentioned with the other faceplate, if you were to put on the other faceplate, it's red and it's a little bit long, kind of like, you know, more similar to the 2000X, I would say, you know. But I've left on this one, which is, I would say, more Classics looking. But yeah, I really like this new Roboto. Now, comparing him to the Revelation Roboto, as you can see here, this one has the exact look as what he did in the cartoon. Now, the cool thing about in the movie, the cartoon, is this chest opened up, and it allowed you to get to this conductor, this power conductor heart of Roboto that was very powerful, and allowed him to forge the two halves of the sword back together to bring back the Sword of Power. But in this particular version, as you can see, he is very, very thick in this midsection here. So they've trimmed him down here. Of course, used a very more clear plastic, crystal plastic type covering, whereas this doesn't look quite as clear. And then a lot better of a metallic plastic with the boots. This is a lot more metallic, even in person, more than you can even tell on the camera. This has a little bit of a dull look to it in comparison to this. And I was not really a big fan of the way they did this one's blaster, because you had to remove the gauntlet all the way to the hand, and it didn't make these long enough, especially with this cannon here. When you put this on him, it just looks like you've left his hand off. It doesn't look like a blaster. And so they should have just had it like they did this one, where you unplug the hand and plug the accessories in so they're longer, like, you know, like you would imagine, like this one right here. See, it's not too long, but it's long enough. If you had removed the gauntlet part down to here and this was down here, it would look shorter, in my opinion, than it should, kind of like this one does. But it's not bad. This one works. This one works actually a lot better than this one. You see how much shorter that one is. And like I said, it just looks like he left his hand off. Almost looks like just the gauntlet painted a different color, the part of his forearm. But you can definitely see the difference in the helmet. I like the fact that they got this crystal clear helmet. Gives a 3-dimension to it. Love the blue eyes, the visor. Also love the fact that you can now actually, and we've not been getting any working parts with Masterverse. So this is new in Wave 16. I hope they continue to go with it where they can. And this is definitely one they could, and I love it. Love the working gears. That's really nice. And so looks even like there's a hole here that you could even plug something in here if you wanted to. Not sure what exactly. Yeah, you can't plug those, but some of the accessories that come with another figure maybe. But yeah, definitely liking this Roboto. He is so cool. And here's a Roboto that I just slapped a cape and a piece of leather on to give him kind of more of a look like he did in the Revelation movie, where he was more or less pretending to be Man-at-Arms' son, programmed with all of Man-at-Arms' memories from when he was younger, as well as all of his skills, which is what allowed him to be able to reforge the Sword of Power. But anyway, he is looking cool there. But here we have Man-at-Arms trying to reprogram Roboto so that he can play chess with Manny faces, because he loves to play chess. And when he finishes programming Roboto here, he's going to want to play chess as well. And I bet he'll be good at it, especially if it's anything like this AI stuff nowadays. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Have a blessed one, and we'll talk with you soon. Enjoy these photos in the photo gallery.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win is
Very good job welding that head on this jet sled Roboto. Very good job.
supposed to feel. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said.